Hello and welcome to episode 99. And today I'm going to be looking at the difference between the vintage AKG C451 and the Blue Line series, the 300 that replaced it, and what the differences are. Now, these two microphones, both AKGs, very similar. The C300, the replacement for the 451, is a little bit chunkier, and in your hand it does actually feel a bit more sturdy. I really like the C451s, and I think I've got 3 or 4 of them, but gradually the capsules are starting to fail, and I've now got one Omni, I've got one cardioid and a few shotguns, but one's not much use for stereo, is it? And the capsules that I did have that were good have started to become rumbly, noisy, crackly. And the price of new capsules, even if you look on eBay, people are asking over 200 quid for just the capsule. And the snag, of course, is that capsule is going to be nearly as old as the ones that I've got already, and it's going to go noisy at some point in the future. I mean, if I get 6 months use out of it, maybe that isn't too bad, perhaps, but realistically it could die tomorrow, couldn't it? So the 451, sadly for me, are becoming a little bit too unreliable, and I've done a few recordings where when they were checked at the beginning of the recording, were absolutely perfect, and halfway through start to just increase the noise floor, and a rumble and a rustling builds up, and it's just ruining things. And then a friend of mine, Ray, is thinking of retiring, and he mentioned that he'd got a couple of 300 series mics, and the 300 was the replacement for the 451, and I think they actually did a pretty good job of spotting what was wrong with the 451 series and fixing it. Now, the killer for 451s was the fact that they've actually got like a micro thread around the element that you screw in, and if you put them on cross-threaded, which was really easy to do because the little spring contact inside is quite strong, and you would screw them on cross-threaded and they'd jam up, and that's it, wrecked. The thread was incredibly fine, like a sort of watchmaker style thread rather than an engineering thread. And especially if the capsules have been on and off a few times, they'd become less than positive, and some of them would jam up and then the damn things wouldn't come off at all. And they fixed that with the 300 series with the Blue Line, because quarter turn and it pulls off. So really a nice design and chunky. I've never had any of these, and more importantly, I've never heard them. Well, ironically, since I recorded the first bit, my remaining AKG C451 with the cardio capsule has gone out and is now at this moment doing service in a large meeting room attached to a lectern with one of those angled attachments on it that you've seen in perhaps a previous video. So what I've done is put a 300 and the 451 as close together as I can get them, so they're actually same distance away as the SM7B that you're listening to me on now. So let's switch across first to the 451. So we're on the 451 now, and that's what a 451 sounds like. It's about a foot, so 300 mil or so. So that's the microphone that I like, that I've used for a long time, about a foot away from my mouth. And if we switch to the 300, you're now going to get the more modern, because the 300 of course is a current microphone and the 451 is an elderly microphone, but they've both got the same sort of origins, and the pedigree of the two is pretty similar, and even price wise they're sort of akin to each other. So is the 300 a microphone that I'm now going to switch to as a mic of choice over the 451, bearing in mind that the 451s are getting less reliable? At the moment I've got an Omni and I've got a cardioid left in fully working order. I really needed 2 cardioids, but I haven't got them anymore. One of them is just intermittently noisy, which is a bit of a pain. So anyway, I'm hoping that the 300 is going to be a good one, and we'll have to wait and see. I'll do the edit and I'll come back and let you know if I agree with that. Well, I've got to say that they sound so close that using either isn't a problem as far as I'm concerned, and I shall happily use the cardioid version of the 300 on loads of stuff now, I think. I'm pleasantly surprised. I sort of thought that the vintage one was going to have a little bit of an edge, but I was wrong. I'm quite happy using the 300, and they're tougher, and it looks like ham-fisted people like me are not going to be able to break it so easily, so I'm a happy chap. Anyway, see you on the next video. It'll be number 100. 100 videos, wow. See you on the next one. Look after yourselves. Take care.